Yes, yeah.
Hi, Christine. Love you. Oh. Oh.
There, can you hear me?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh,
Here
I
we
had a headache that won't stop. Just
are.
great killing. Oh,
I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Public Schools Board of Education to an open, and we'll rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item on our agenda after opening of the pledge is our school/community session. Do we have any public participation from anyone in the present audience? If not, do we have anyone online who wants to comment?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to our Board of Ed student representatives report. Brooke and Grace.
Okay. So we've had a really busy start to the school year. Recently we had the parent teacher conferences, which were really well attended. I know my parents went and they always find it really informative. And from all the teachers, it seemed like there was a really nice turnout, which is always nice to have the parents kind of understand more about the curriculum that we experience every day. It was also the midpoint for our grades last Friday. Kind of a scary point for me, but it's kind of nice to see how you're doing. It doesn't really affect much. It's just kind of like a progress report. There was a mental health day on Wednesday to mark Worldwide Mental Health. I was a part of planning it through Interact, and it was a really cool experience. We had different breakout groups. There were different community members that came. I know I did bingo with the senior citizens, and there were field games, there were nature walks. It was just kind of to relax from the hectic school environment that we experience so often and kind of be able to reconnect. So that was really cool. And then we also had counselor meetings, which were grade specific for us. It was a lot of college planning. For the freshmen, it was just an introduction as to what the year was going to look like, or rather the high school experience. And then we also had the club fair during this Worldwide Mental Health Day kind of break in our schedule. And this was the first time that it was school-wide. Each grade got to participate in the club fair. I really liked this design because as a junior, there were clubs that were completely unfamiliar to me that I'm able to get involved with. Whereas in the past, it's been all freshmen are the only people who can attend the club fair. And then I'm also in the Make-A-Wish Club, and we had a ton of participation from all the grades, which was really cool to see. And then on October 1st and 2nd, we had our PSATs for the sophomores and juniors. It was a good experience. There weren't any technical issues or anything like that. And I think people really appreciated getting to see the format before we'll have to take the standardized SAT.
I'm glad I'm over with all that. That was a rough time. But moving forward in the next upcoming weeks, the regular season for the fall sports has come to an end. So they're entering championship seasons. I know SEC starts on Thursday. We've had amazing athletics per usual. But what's also really great is that our fan base has been going to all different types of sports. And I know our AD, Mr. Farrell, has been trying to promote this. He's been doing a great job. And not only has the representation been great, but the sportsmanship inside the student sections has been awesome, which is a great reputation to have in the school. And a little bit over a week is Halloween. And as always, the students and staff are encouraged to dress up in some fun and school appropriate costumes. I know I'm always excited to see what the different departments are going to do. The math department has always been doing super great. We'll see if Miss Britsky in the science department does good this year.
On the rep.
It's a secret, we'll see. And November is right around the corner, which means that homecoming is right around the corner, as it's November 2nd. And in the past, as always, it's been led by the student council, but this year they're trying to let other people who are not in the student council be a part of this planning process. And I know there's been students and also parents who have been involved. It's been happening since the beginning of the school year. They've had meetings at Scranton Library and all sorts of different types of meetings to make it as great as possible. So it should be a fun time. And then moving even farther along, exams this year are going to be before Thanksgiving, which in my opinion is the way to go because we can leave T1 behind us and enter the holiday season on a fresh foot.
Thank you. Any questions for our student reps? Not this time. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, all right, our next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report, which I know is going to begin with recognition for some students here. Thank you for being here, and Dr. Cook.
Yeah, we have a great recognition tonight, and so Brooke and Grace stayed for this one. Be great because I got some involvement with it as well. And so it's great to recognize some winners tonight, and I don't want to take too much of their thunder, but I know joining them is Principal Salvatore and Assistant Principal Richard, and also I don't know what his title in this part of his job is, but he's the boat race consultant, Anderson, and then a new title as well to me anyway. Coach B, is that the new Coach Pritchie on the boat race, and some students, and just a little bit about the race. Again, I don't want to take too much of your thunder, but it started in 2010, I believe. The boat race is at Avery Point, and it celebrates academic achievement, but there's also a physical piece to it, which is really exciting. And students have to apply what they've learned in the EC course, and so we wanted to bring them forward with their fantastic boat and trophy. And I'll turn it over to you, Coach B.
Yes, this is our second year participating. Actually, they started in 2010, but only in 2016 they invited the physics classes. Can you believe that? At hand, this is our second year participating, and we did start a little bit earlier because the race is in September. So we actually started the engineering club, thinking about it last April, and pulling in Mr. Anderson. That actually was my partner in crime at Westbrook, and we won 2 championships together. So this is our third one. So and the rest is they did a great job. They planned it and they listened to some good advice. They put their own imprint on on the boat construction, but we have here actually two teams. We have the team that won their first place in their heat and then the championship, the big trophy. And then we also have a representation from the team that won the third place in their heat, which is also awesome. Out of four boats, all four boats are pretty well constructed, so very well constructed. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun. I'm gonna let them speak about their experience, construction and racing experience, what you guys learned.
Yeah, so we started the engineering club last year because we wanted to make engineering and like that type of like interactive mathematics available to everyone, and especially stuff like the cardboard boat race available to students not only that are like taking physics. So it was really nice to see how people from the engineering club that are in other UConn classes like language or Spanish or classes like that were able to participate as well, which is how we won the interdisciplinary award. And then a lot of the design on our boat was inspired by students that were like otherwise wouldn't have been able to be part of the competition because they weren't in physics. The engineering club I would say was a big step because it allowed us to start working before the end of last school year. So like getting all of the materials and then constructing the boat a lot took place over the summer before. So we were able to create a boat that was really well prepared.
I learned that. That's really great.
Yeah, so we met probably 5 or 6 times, mostly on the weekends, and just came together and did some measurements to like find out what were the best designs for like the length and the width and the height of the boat. And then we went to some like rug stores to get some like the structural components.
Yeah, the tubes were key to
Right.
sturdy boat.
And then we came back and cut through them to make like the structural parts of the boat. And then got quite a bit of duct tape to make sure it was waterproof. And then used the duct tape to cover all of the cardboard before attaching it with even more duct tape. So, yeah, that was our building campaign.
What's the name of the boat again?
Usain boat.
And Mr. Anderson just pointed out to me, whose idea was a couple? That was genius.
So Max was at my house at about midnight on a Sunday night.
Because that's, yeah.
I think we were losing our minds a little bit. At about 10, we finished like the main structure, and then we were like, if we put it in the water after all this work and it tips, like we're not gonna be able to look in the mirror the next day. So we added like last minute, we added the pontoons to the side, and then there was that gap. It was midnight. We were like out of our minds. We were like, let's throw a couple of them on, because we had all the empty rolls of duct tape sitting around.
I was part of the other team. I wasn't part of the engineering club. I was just a student in physics, and we had to come up with a different system of meeting every day to make sure that the boat was assembled and ready for race day. So we would go during lunch. When we had 3 periods, we would go build the boat. We had a ton of different people, so we delegated those responsibilities. Some people had to get the duct tape, some people had to get the cardboard tubes, and if you didn't have that much time to build, you were more of the materials gatherer than the actual builder of the boat. So we were able to handle those responsibilities differently. And I think the overall process, we learned kind of just the mechanics of a boat in general as well. We didn't have that much time, so the front of our boat was flat. So that was really difficult to row.
Kills the rower.
Yeah, I was the rower. So it's super difficult to row. So that's definitely a suggestion for the next year. But I think overall beyond that, we just learned kind of how to take stuff out of the textbook or out of paper and apply it to the real world, which is just super useful in everyday life.
So yeah, so I think one of the biggest things I learned in this boat race was teamwork. We had a lot of teamwork. They were just talking about building a boat. I was also part of that process. we had to build a boat in a narrow set of requirements, and sometimes we'd be building and we'd realize that, it's not within the requirements, so we have to make these small changes we've discussed all together. And then there will be one person who brings the materials to a saw to cut it, one person holding the end, one person operating the saw, and another person getting full of duct tape out. Everyone had a role. It was great. At the competition itself, Will and I had a little bit of teamwork. Yeah. I pushed the boat into the water with him. The first time around, I think I rushed a little bit and tilted it a little bit. Yeah. And a lot of water ended up getting the boat, but I tried to have a little bit better communication with Will, and that resulted in a little bit of better teamwork. So the second time around, there wasn't as much water in the boat. Of course, that also had to do a little bit with adding the duct tape on the bottom. But yeah, so that was the teamwork there. I also have to say the spirit at the boat race was absolutely amazing. Everyone was cheering each other on. I barely heard any trash talk. It was great hearing everyone cheering everyone else on, everyone helping each other at the end, no matter what team they were on. Yeah, it was really a great day.
Are you juniors or seniors? Or
both?
Seniors.
Can you communicate that to other?
Oh, we make sure of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully pass on the reins next year with some new recruits to the engineering club through the club fair, which is really big. That's great.
Where was the race held? Like, was it
At the Avery
Lake?
Point campus.
Oh.
In the
In
sound.
the ocean.
In the Sound, really?
Yeah, in the
Oh, that's
Sound.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You said Point Beach. Oh, okay, so it's actually.
Did other students from the school come to cheer you guys on?
It was during the school year, so they weren't.
School day, yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Here it is.
We have, because we actually have a tiger talk.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
We have a segment in the tiger talk. We
So-
have.
So is it one
schools also-
person in the boat at a
Yes.
time? And you use a canoe paddle or?
Yeah, so in our boat, there was only room for one, so I had a kayak paddle. And then Eve, you were just one person, but then there was one team from hand and two people in the boat.
What materials did you use?
Just cardboard duct tape.
That was it.
That's it. Yeah.
Not that. It's amazing what you can do at cardboard. So
You can use a paddle that is not cardboard, but
Oh, yeah.
that's the only.
Our boat was, we took a long time designing it, but since it had the flat front, it was so hard to row. But I was able to stay up in the water for about 5 minutes because we put so much duct tape on it.
So is the key to like get to a finish line or just to be the last man standing or?
Kind of
Finish
similar.
Yeah, so it's around 2 buoys, so you leave from the shore and then you get back to the shore at a different spot. But it's definitely a combination of like weighing the speed versus like actually making it there, because a lot of teams didn't finish. Yeah.
Wow.
Could you share your names with the board so that you get credit for?
Oh,
Hi, Jeffrey Yang.
I'm Max Wheeler.
Well, McGuire.
Steve Minneke.
And Brooke.
Yeah, our boat did sink, so.
What's the name of your boat?
Oh. We had some
You can say
different
both
names.
names.
We had Romania and then we had Row versus Wave. We had a toss up.
And you guys had a great name.
We had the recycled Olympic Village bed.
Because it's not cardboard.
Yeah.
The theme for this year was Olympics.
Okay.
So that's right, where we got the Usain
Oh,
boat.
yeah.
So
Row
who
is zero.
takes the boat home? Now where does the boat live?
For now, it's in the
It's
physics
better,
class.
or in physics class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Inspiring future
Yeah.
engineers.
Maybe we'll use it next year.
And so the
Hold on to
interdisciplinary, I'm sorry. And so the interdisciplinary part is students who are in ECE classes but not the physics class
Exactly,
are able to participate?
yes. And we also use a Fab Lab to do stickers for the teams to have like some unifying elements.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we branched out,
Yeah.
collaborate across the disciplines.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing this awesome victory with us and we're proud of you and we're so happy to hear that you performed so well. That's awesome. It's its own reward, right? Like, you feel like you learned a lot? Sure. It's awesome. Great.
Great kickoff to your students.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
Good coaching. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so fun. No, they were, there's because they're on the top street, the cardboard. That's great. Mr. Anderson, you carry it.
What's that?
Yeah, right now.
No, we have guys that can take care of that tomorrow. All right, thank you. And next up we have as the budget calendar and guidelines. So the board has received copies of those. We went over these tonight with the finance committee. The finance committee has recommended they move forward, and so with Galen's approval, I just want to share some highlights and a little bit about what we discussed. He'll, I'm sure, cover some other pieces with it as well when we get to the committee report. But the timeline is well in action right now. You know, you can see it's about halfway through in terms of the number of meetings already. It does follow the standard pretty much that's been in place for several years. You'll notice several meetings have not been determined yet. They are outside of the Board of Education's control. We are waiting to hear from the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. I did share with the committee tonight that we have requested an earlier voting date in town, if at all possible, with the Board of Finance and Board of Selectmen. We do vote on the later end of the second Tuesday in May. Many towns and cities vote earlier than that. The charter does allow that, and the new charter, relatively new charter, they did not move it last year because I think they wanted to make sure they over communicate that if it happens. But yeah, we have passed on our support for an earlier date if at all possible. We are waiting several big items, as you can imagine. You know, health insurance. This will be you know, more difficult budget to put together than other years because of the reorganization and some pieces that will impact that, such as we will, and it relates to another, the next item on the agenda, but we will be going from 6 sites to 4, but we will for certain time during the budget have all 7 sites, on our budget, meaning TCLC, Ryerson, and Jeffrey, even though they will not be schools for us come September. They will be on our, we would be operating them after July 1, so they would be part of this this budget for only facilities type line item in that area. But we have some challenges in terms of electricity. We'll have a very efficient school coming on board, but also some increase in costs. So we're working on that. We started that process very early, as well as there'll be some staffing changes that will certainly impact. And then as well, health insurance. We're waiting for the first run on health insurance proposal from Blue Cross Blue Shield. We are self-insured, as the board knows, but there is a lot of projections that must go into place for us to be able to. So that pretty much covers the calendar, as you can see, and then the committee reviewed the board priorities and also the administrative council and operating budget objectives. And those are similar to what you've seen in the past, except for a few items, as I mentioned, related to the reorganization. We continue to grapple with the right to read act and how that impacts Madison, and also making sure that our current programs have the current funding that's required for the consumables and things like that. And as the board knows as well, we're doing a pilot right now for Geo. So if that is to move forward, there'll be a cost associated with that for next year. So a lot of conversations to to still be had related to budget, you know, but as I mentioned, you know, it started well over a month ago, and so we've been in a good place with those discussions and look forward to our discussions in the future with the Board of Ed. As I mentioned, Ryerson, Jeffrey and TCLC, I just want to give an update and see if there's any outstanding questions from the board. As I mentioned in a previous board meeting, you know, as a district, we do not see the need for us to operate those buildings going forward after the reorganization happens and the Neck River Elementary School is on board. There will be some time certainly where we will need to operate those buildings probably into the school year, into September and October. As we remove the remaining technology pieces and certainly some materials and furniture. And once we get the school year started, our big operation, our big priority will be certainly starting the school year off and getting the buildings ready to go. That we'll be operating, and then we'll have some work still to do on those buildings. In Connecticut, they are all town of Madison buildings. The schools operate and have complete control over them, but at which point they are no longer going to be a school. The board has the option of either hanging on to them or giving the keys back to the town. And our recommendation is going to be that we give the keys back to the town in all three buildings. I know the town would like to have that information as soon as possible. So if there's no board questions or concerns, and that doesn't have to come forward tonight, feel free to let me know, or the board's executive committee know outside of this discussion if there's any questions or concerns. But we would put that on a future agenda for a board formal vote. And it would be at a date to be determined, but I think that would be helpful. I know that would be helpful to the town to know that there's that indication that the buildings would be coming back to. And then finally, a nice recognition for the Board of Ed. So for the second year in a row, the Madison Board of Ed has received the K Board Recognition Award. This program was created in 1998 to recognize excellence in leadership activities of local school boards, and so congratulations to the board. The board will be recognized at the CAPS conference on Friday morning, November 15th. There's a picture with the Commissioner of Education. So even if you do not plan to attend or cannot attend the meeting, if you can join us for the picture. I know Seth knows the exact time. I believe it's somewhere around 10:30.
10:45 in the north lobby.
In the north lobby at 10:45. So if you could join us at the Signaria for even just a picture, please do so, and we'll sneak you a cup of coffee or something. Again, congratulations to the board, and I know that there's a higher level award that if the board hit certain parameters for that the board would be able to for next year, having won this award 2 years in a row. So pleased to share that with you.
Thank you.
That completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Craig? No. Board member comments. Any comments from the board? Online, in person.
I love having the students here to share. I mean, I say this, like, we also do this every time we have students present on a project or event. But it's really nice to have them and to have them here with their teacher/coach. So.
And their huge boat.
Yeah.
The heartbeat. That is great. If we get flooded tonight, we can just all
There you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great to keep sight of what we're here for, and it's the kids, and we tend to be student focused, which I love about this board, but to have the students in once in a while for something like that is special. In terms of the K Board of Distinction Award, I just wanted to, generally it's the superintendent that nominates the board, and Zoe does all the work compiling the application. So thank you very much, both of you. And it's an honor to have this award. We're one of 10 boards that received this distinction this year in the state of about 158 districts. And then one other thing I wanted to mention just because I still have a smile stuck on my face from learning this news last week. Or a couple weeks ago, that Daniel Hand High School was awarded the National Blue Ribbon School distinction, which is amazing. It's the only high school in Connecticut that received it. One of only, I think, 3 schools in Connecticut that received the State Board of Education, or the State Department of Education, nominated us, which is an honor in and of itself. But to win it shows that there's truly special work going on at the high school. And I know in the past, both Brown and Jeffrey won blue ribbon distinctions, and maybe other schools as well, but I'm going back about 20 years, and that's about all my Madison memory carries me. But we do special work here, and it's evident with an award like that. So thank you so much to the state for recognizing that, and for the federal government, to the federal government for recognizing it as well, the Department of Education. Okay, next item on the agenda, audience response to information presented. Do we have any comments from the audience? We have no audience here. Is there anyone online? No? Okay, thank you. Board committees and liaison updates, curriculum and student development, Stephen.
The curriculum committee has not met since our last meeting, so no report.
Okay. Facilities committee, Emily.
No reports.
Finance committee, I have a feeling Galen will have a report.
Well, yes, except for Craig, but far better than I could. I would just urge everybody to read the board's priorities and the budget objectives. I think they make a lot of sense given our challenges and the reorganization. But other than that, the calendar is important. And we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you. Personnel committee, Maureen is unable to be with us this evening, and I think she would have no report anyway because we haven't met since the last meeting. Policy committee, Diane is traveling tonight and unable to be here. Did she ask you to?
Yes.
Galen will provide a report on her behalf.
She did. We have not met. We have 3 policies for review and second reading. 2 of them are legal updates to be in compliance with federal law. I think the policy summary is excellent. We'll talk about it, I guess, when it comes to it.
Thank you. And learn liaison, Mary Ann is online.
So we met October 10th. The superintendent's perspective was the main thing, and it was the Parent Bill of Rights for English learners and multilingual learners. They explained the Bill of Rights was passed in 2024. The top 5 themes of the bill are educational equity, federal and state law compliance, linguistic rights of students, supporting student educational success, and promoting family involvement. And that was the main thing of the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So seeing no questions, we'll move on to our first action item, which is I will entertain a motion to approve the 25-26 budget calendar.
So moved.
Emily,
I'll second.
and seconded by Galen. Thank you. Any discussion on the budget calendar, which was in our board packet for everyone to review? I mean, it's pretty straightforward, so nothing controversial. Okay, no discussion. I will call the vote. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, motion carries 8-0. Thank you.
You know, it should be 7-0.
Oh, 7, that's right. 1, 2,
Because Diane's
Five,
stance was more.
6, 7, yeah.
Motions aren't accurate, I'm not, I think today.
Thank you. Okay, action item 9. I need a motion to approve the following policies. 50/70 promotion / acceleration / retention. 5120.4.2.4 Title 9 of the Education Amendments of 1972, prohibitions of sex discrimination and sexual harassment. 4116.1 sexual harassment.
So moved.
Emily, do I have a second?
Second.
Stephen,
Thank you. Any discussion on those?
I guess I'll just say, read into the record, 5070 for motion and acceleration retention. It's recommended that we repeal this policy, replace it with an updated model, motion and retention policy. We further recommend that relocating this to 6,000 students. The other two are designed to be in compliance with federal statutes.
And those recommendations were from Shipman and Goodwin and also concurred upon at the policy committee meeting. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Action item 10. I need a motion to approve a donation from the Madison Foundation to Daniel Hand High School in the amount of $3,000 for a 3D printer.
So
Kathy, thank you. Do I have a second?
from Miriam saying.
Oh, Mary Ann, thank you. Okay, so now looking through the packet, my understanding, I guess we'll have discussion now. Looking through the packet, my understanding is that there's a student or a group of students who are working on a project. And they were able to get the Madison Foundation to donate a 3D printer in conjunction with that project. Is that correct?
Yeah, they were seeking lots of donations to make sure that it was accomplished, so they donated money to us. Yes, the great.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Very generous, once again. Madison Foundation helping out. Wonderful. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Action item 11, I need a motion to approve a donation from the Madison Foundation to the Gaines Club at Daniel Hand High School in the amount of $3,600 to support students attending a 3-day STEM conference. Do I have a motion? Emily, do I have a second?
Second.
Kathy, thank you both. So discussion. Craig, you want to just, what's the Gaines Club?
Oh, it's a club in town that had a club at the high school that had done some fundraising that has basically wanted to send students to a STEM conference, and they are sending it through the, giving the money towards through the board to be able to pay for that.
Thank you. Again, Madison Foundation, thank you very much for stepping up and supporting the schools. We greatly appreciate it. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? All unanimous. Motion carries 7-0. Action item 12. I need a motion to approve a donation from Blue Delta Energy to Daniel Hand High School in the amount of $2,600 to support Luke Jacobson's 3D printer project.
So moved.
Emily, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Galen, thank you. So, wait a second. All right, so it looks like were all three of these, or were two of them related to that project for
The last-
3D printer?
The last donation part of the Students Independent Project, which they were fundraising for a particular 3D printer. That's what the last one is.
Oh,
The top two are donations to the Madison Foundation.
okay, that's fantastic. All right, well, we always love a student taking the initiative to seek additional funds. Now, I mean, I guess we should ask, does anybody know or have any objection to Blue Delta Energy in particular being a donor? I suspect we have no problems with it, or, okay.
No concerns about Blue Delta Energy. Did we open up for discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt, but wanted to ask if we are going to have students present their independent projects to the board or talk about them. If that's something that we should think about. I mean, so lots of different projects. I think Luke would be a great one to bring forward, especially, he had been thinking about this, he met with Mr. Solitary and myself. Last year, and so he went into summer, already with a plan, you know, he felt that this was additional need for the high school. And, wanted to kind of leave something to the high school as well, so it was really well thought out, so I think this would be a great one to bring forward. And we could think about some other ones, you know, Gail, and put our heads together, talk to the high school. Look at some other, you know, kind of projects that would give a sampling for the board. Right, so I think that would be great.
Was this the one that was going to the Fab Lab? 3D printing. Maybe not. I thought it said something. Being a donation.
Believe from my remember, one would go to the Fab Lab, but the other one would go towards in the CTE area. The Fab Lab does have 3D printers, but this is, you know, additional, but that's technology that's moving so fast.
Yeah, it is. All right. Call the question, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So, I'm sorry, can I get the online votes again, all in favor? Aye, okay, so it's unanimous, 7-0. Thank you all very much. Action item 13, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the October 8th, 2024 Board of Education meeting. So, Stephen. Second, Emily, thank you. Any discussion, any recommended edits? Seeing none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Any recommendations for future agenda items? And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Kathy, and second, Emily. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. 7-0, thank you.